do have to wonder if there's a bourbon drinking equivalent of me out there who's cringing at me for saying this, but as a Scotch drinker, I really quite like Wild Turkey. I really like the previous bottling of the Wild Turkey 101 8-year-old, really like the rare breed. The new 101 is not too bad, and the Wild Turkey 81 is pretty good as well. So when I saw this new Wild Turkey Longbranch, I thought I'd give it a go. So I didn't even realise when I bought this one, but it's actually a celebrity whiskey. They don't draw too much attention to it on the label until you look closely, but it has actually got Matthew McConaughey's signature on the label there. Although, if it didn't say who it was underneath, you would have no idea who that is. That's a bit of a squiggle. I think it's quite possible that he might have been tasting some of the produce when he did that signature. So would I have bought this whiskey if I'd have known that it was a celebrity whiskey when I was parting with my money? Possibly not, because apart from the fact that it all seems a bit condescending being told by a celebrity what we should like and enjoy, celebrity whiskies tend not to be that good. But anyway, official Matthew McConaughey juice. Apparently he likes it enough to put his reputation on the line, so can't be too bad, can it? One thing that they have done with this bourbon, which is a little bit interesting, is that it's actually filtered through charcoal made from Kentucky white oak and Texas mesquite charcoal. So in a way, it would seem that it's kind of Kentucky's answer to Tennessee whiskey, because Tennessee whiskey now has to be filtered through charcoal by law. And as we know, bourbon can't be aged in refill casks, and straight bourbon can't be flavoured, so distillers that are producing bourbon are actually much more limited in ways that they can shape the flavour of a bourbon compared to other styles of whiskey. So for them to use mesquite charcoal in the filtering process is a nice little bit of creative thinking. But you do have to wonder if that mesquite wood, which is typically used as a smoking or barbecue wood, has been turned into charcoal, which should essentially be a neutral filter, how much of the flavour is it actually going to give to the whiskey? Let's find out. So when I was doing my research for Wild Turkey Longbranch, which was after I purchased the bottle, did actually see some vague rumours online about this being made with 8-year-old Wild Turkey, so the same age statement that we used to have on the Wild Turkey 101. Although there is no mention of any sort of age statement at all on the bottle, it does tell us that it's Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, refined with oak and Texas mesquite charcoals. It is bottled at 43% ABV, so that's a good sign right off the bat that it's not bottled at the bare minimum 40%. Hopefully that'll mean that some of the flavours carry over a little bit better than in the Wild Turkey 81. So let's see how it noses. So immediately what springs out is that it's an incredibly sweet and nutty bourbon. And this is a style that I really like. It's one of the things I really like about the Austin Nichols distillery, which produces Wild Turkey. So I'm getting big hits of syrupy caramel and lots of nutty raw peanuts, not salted peanuts or dry roasted. The peanuts that you get that are either still in the shell or still have the red skin on them from a whole food shop perhaps. Also getting some popcorn notes in there. Popcorn and lots of caramel and a little hint of hazelnut as well. And all of the sweet syrupy caramel mixed with those nutty notes, it really reminds you of peanut brittle. Some lovely sweet milk chocolate notes as well. Lovely, sweet and smooth, no immaturity, no big ethanol hit. As I always say, it would be great if everything was bottled at 46%, but the fact that it's bottled at 43, I think that it gives it enough power that the flavours come over on the nose and the palate. But being bottled at 43 also makes this incredibly smooth and easy drinking and easy nosing as well. And it is also quite a complex nose as well, especially, I might get some hate for this, but especially for a bourbon, it is an especially complex nose. I've also got some freshly sawn oak notes in there, and nice, lightly earthy grassiness. Let's see how it tastes. See, that is beautiful. Again, lots of big, sweet, syrupy caramel notes. And it's not a bland, overly blended, boring caramel. It's a really rich, sweet and syrupy note. Also getting some really nice lemon and vanilla notes on the palate. And again, just like you got on the nose, lots of really nice nuttiness, peanut brittle, and a little of that nice sour grassiness as well. And curiously, late on the palate, I'm getting some rather nice, and I'm not a fan of especially wood spice and gingery notes, but on this one you're getting some really nice sort of sweet curry powder notes. And I do wonder if that sweet curried flavour might be coming from the mesquite. And I'll be perfectly honest, it's not something that I'd noticed in other wild turkeys, but I really thought that the mesquite being turned into charcoal, you wouldn't get any noticeable impact on the flavour other than the filtering effect of the charcoal, making it more milder. I expected it to be a subtractive element to the whiskey rather than an additive one, but I do think that there is a little bit of a nice spiciness there, which I think probably does come from the mesquite. As for the finish, it's medium long, lots of sweet syrupy caramel, popcorn, nutty, and a little bit of that sweet syrupy curry powder as well. And I will just point out, it goes without saying really, but the colour on this is a lovely colour, and being a straight bourbon, it is going to be 100% natural colour. So as for a grade, I'm going to give this a B. I think it's a really good whiskey, and as I said, the fact that they've bottled this at 43% means it's not only a really good premium sipping whiskey for anyone that really likes their bourbons, but it's also a very accessible whiskey as well. Anyone who wants to try a bourbon, maybe hasn't tried anything or not too much in the past and wants to give it a go, this is a really good one. I also think it's really good that it's instantly recognisable as a wild turkey bourbon. They haven't done something really wacky. I imagine that if a Scotch distillery had done a collaboration with Matthew McConaughey, they might have put some wacky red wine or port or some bizarre cask finish on it, and it wouldn't have had that link to the distillery character, but this really does. It's 100% wild turkey through and through. Me personally, I would say that I like this quite a bit more than Wild Turkey 81. I think that the extra 3% ABV really helps to carry the flavour quite a lot, and I'd probably say I like it more than the current Wild Turkey 101 as well, although probably not as much as the old 101 8-year-old, and certainly not as much as the Wild Turkey Rare Breed. Where it does fall down though is that in the UK at the moment at least, this is available in some of the supermarkets for £40, which is quite a bit more money than the Wild Turkey 101, and it's not that much cheaper than the Wild Turkey Rare Breed, so it makes it in that difficult middle ground where you could save a bit of money and get the 101, which is nearly as good, or you could spend a little bit more and get something which is quite a bit better. Still, Wild Turkey Longbranch I think is a really good bourbon, and it's well worth a try, and the fact that it's starting to show up in the supermarkets here in England means it's definitely worth looking out for some special offers on this one, because they're probably going to happen fairly soon, and you can pick yourself up a really good bargain. Cheers.